Bueno, de hecho, conoció Brenda porque él
So it'd be -2.
Neither do I. But it's their own thing. Yeah, I know.
So it'd be -2.
Yep. I like it. All right, guys. So today I'm gonna. Oh, are you done? You sure you want to turn it in? You can make sure they're right. You have 2 weeks. Yes, good. Okay. And if you check, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. You sure?
That's not what is this one is correct or no? I will give it to you now, but
Be careful. One thing. -6 minus 15. You're -6, and then you go down 15 more. You're still negative. So the answer should be -21.
oh really?
Right? Yeah.
I have problem with the sign.
Oh.
Here too,
Trust me.
because minus with minus, right?
You got
Gonna be
it.
negative.
Yep. Good. Yep. Okay. All right, guys. So my plan is I'm going to lecture a little bit. We're going to do a little bit out of the blue book. I've got a handout, and then we're going to lecture a little bit more after that, and then we're going to head out. Yes, ma'am. That's all right. I'm going to put it up here. We're going to work on stuff together out of the blue book because I just didn't feel like copying stuff, so we'll just work it together. First question, though, real quick. Any questions from homework stuff? Okay, that's different. Yes, ma'am.
Number 36, section 3.4.
Yeah, word problems. And be real careful. If you haven't done section 3.4 yet, be sure you answer the entire question. So if there's a pheasant running around and there's a falcon flying around, you better give me both speeds, for example. Don't just say x equals 5 and stop. There's normally more than one part to it. So be sure you get both answers or else you're going to have to go back and look at it again. 36 says 2 things. What are those 2 things in number 36? This is page 193. Alright, so I got a dragster, top fuel dragster, right? And an Indy Racing League car. And an Indy Racing League car. So those are the 2 things. And what specifically about those 2 things?
The race cars.
There's the race cars, but what are we talking about them? Are we talking about their length? Yeah, the speed. So it's the speeds of both. Okay, so remember what the steps are. You don't have to draw all this. This is not a geometric problem. Don't draw little cars, right? Identify in English what the hell you're talking about. And then what's the next step after that? This is where we start to bring algebra into play. The next step is to do what? Figure out which one is...
Which one is X?
No. Which one is X? And then the other one's going to be X plus 30 or twice X or something, right? So which one of these is just X? Which one does the other one depend on?
Just X is Indy.
The Indy race.
Yeah, because the top fuel dragster has a speed 95 mile an hour faster than the Indy Race League car, right? So this is the one I got to call X. Because this guy depends on him. He's 95 mile an hour faster. So how do I write him now?
95x.
Careful, not 95 times as fast. That would be damn fast. Right? If I multiply, I get big pretty quick. This is this guy plus 95. Right? More than is add. to multiply, they really have to almost say times or twice.
Yeah, but it says faster, so.
Exactly, faster, that's why you add. If I would have said 95 mile an hour slower, I would have subtracted. Good, I like it. Where'd it go? So now that I've got, in English, in Mathish, those are the names of those two things in Mathish. What are these two things supposed to do?
Five.
Add up the
565.
565. So if I write this, what have I done wrong?
We missed one.
Damn. So you got to add both of these together, right? Don't say I've already got an X here. I don't care. You got to have this guy and that guy. Good. And now should be the easy step. From the quiz, I noticed maybe it's not so easy. We have got to get solving equations down, because every chapter is going to have a solving equations section. Are you with me? So when we learn fractions in chapter 4, we're going to have equations that have fractions in them and how to solve that. Solving equations is like the bread and butter of math. You have a situation, you set up an equation, you solve it to see what the hell you got to do to make something happen. So in this case, how do I solve this?
2x.
Good. The x is
Plus 95. Except subtract 95.
yeah minus 95 because this is out of in the wrong place. My x's are together, but my numbers are on both sides. So I got to move them together. Got to get rid of him here, so he shows up over there. And what's 565 minus 95?
470.
470. I love it.
Divided by 2.
Good. Now I want to kill that 2.
Divide.
It's 2 times that, so I divide.
235.
235. I love it. Half of 400 is 200. Half of 70 is 35. I like it. Now if I just do that, that sucks on many levels.
Yeah.
There were 2 parts to this question. Plus, I'm going to be a dork and write after that bananas. Right? 235 bananas. Is that what you're talking about? You got to put units down for me. Yeah.
So if it's a fraction like 2 over x, I need to multiply those to cancel them. If
I like
it's 2x, which means multiplication, I need to divide those.
And really, you don't have to memorize separate things. It's always whatever the operation is, you're going to do the opposite.
On both sides.
Bam. That covers operations you don't even know exist yet. That rule goes forever. It's crazy. So you're going to learn new functions in later math courses. And how are you going to solve equations that have them in it? Of whatever the hell that thing is. So that's why I divided there. So what should I do here really? I can go back up to this. So X is this dude. So the racing league car, 235
Mile per hour.
mile per hour. And then this guy, I just add 95. Get out of here.
330.
330 miles per hour. I like it. And then check real quick, they're supposed to add to be 565. They do, yay. Yeah.
That'd be 2 times 2. It's like 235 times 2.
No, be careful. Neither one of these has a 2 in it, do they? Where did that 2 come from? When I added the 2 x's together, right?
Yeah.
But those 2 x's are not in a single place. They're in both. So the minute I find out what x is, I know that x is that. What's the other dude?
Plus.
X plus 95. So I add 95 to this. This really doesn't relate to anything. It was a middleman part of solving an equation. What's 2x got to do with physically? Not a damn thing. Neither one of those is 2x. But it was a step in my solving of the equation. So don't worry, that 2x there doesn't relate to either one of these guys. It's just what happened when I try to solve the equation. I know that x is 235. So I know this dude is 235 because he was x. Right? What's the other guy? X plus 95. And what's x?
95. 235.
So I just added 235 plus 95. Just put a 235 in there because I know x is 235. Cool. Okay.
Can you do one more, please? Number 42, page 194.
Oh, here we go. Now this is the one. A little far away here.
said 42.
42, yeah. This is the one with the tractor and the plow? Right? The one with the tractor and the plow? So what do I put down here for my first step? Tractor? And plow is crazy. All right. What about those more specifically?
How much are you worth?
Good. The cost. I like it. So which one of those is going to be just X?
The plow is X.
Yes, sorry. So if I got the tractor is worth 7 times the plow, so I got to know the plow first because the tractor depends on it. So if I call the plow X, because I don't know what the hell it is, the tractor must be 7 times that, 7X. That's when you multiply, right? Yep. Now what are those two things supposed to do? Because it says right here, a tractor and a plow are worth $1,200 together, right? So I got to take this guy plus this guy to be the $1,200. Do you guys start to see how this stuff? I know at this level it's really difficult to see the usefulness of the algebra because a lot of you guys can figure out the answers without using algebra, and then you start to say, this is just bullshit. And I don't blame you too much. Now, if you said it with that accent, that would freak me out. But again, we are learning the process of algebra with simple examples before we get into the real freaky stuff in 103, 110. Right? There, you got to know this process really well because the actual work is going to be a little more involved. So we want to get the process down with simpler problems so that later we really know the process and the problems get a little bit freakier so that they're more like real life. Right? That's where you start to really do more real life problems. So to solve that,
8X.
good. These are like terms.
Divide by 8.
Divide by 8. Yeah, 150. So the plow is 150.
And
Dollars. And then 7 times 150 is for 7x, right?
750.
So you can just
Careful.
Can you just
0, 3.
subtract 150 out of 100?
Say again?
Can you just subtract?
You could, but I really now if you do that, if you made a mistake here, go with me for a second. The real answer here should be if you do 7 times 150. But now watch, if I made a mistake and I thought I did a mistake here and I got 100, what do I think this is if I just say, I know overall it's 1,200, so let me just subtract and get 1,100. And then you'll say, let me check it. Yeah, they added 1,200, that looks good. You just did circular logic. You got the other answer assuming they added to 1,200, so of course they added 1,200. So I don't know if you really get this point. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that on one level. As long as you do the first part right, that part's going to come out right. But if you really want to be able to check your work, you get this answer here. Then you can check it easy by adding them to see if it's 1,200. So then if you made a mistake, if I thought it was 100, what would this step tell me?
700.
And when I check it, 700 plus 100 is?
800.
I know I made a freaking mistake. Do you kind of see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So on one level, you're right. As long as you got this part right, you can subtract it from 1,200 here and you'll be fine. But then checking it becomes a little bit more difficult. You can't catch a wrong answer easy. Good. Okay, maybe. Yes?
So 1,200 minus 150 is 150?
1,050.
1,050?
Yes, exactly. Good. So that's how I know that these are right. These two do combine to make 1,200. That's how I can check it. Cool.
But I don't understand how to solve the work.
Just like that. You got to show me like this. So the first step, and I really want you to understand, the first step is to go from English to math. Thank God I have Spanish, or else I'd fail math. And then you go from the names you gave them in math, you go to their relationship.
So
That's where the equation comes from. Do they add together to be something?
So that's 2x.
7x's plus an x.
Equals 8x. 8x. So 8.
And then to get the x by itself, I divide the 8 so that the 8 cancels. See that? Like we were talking about earlier? 8x means 8 times x.
That'd be 0.
That would be 1. What's 8 divided by 8?
1.
1. So I got 1x equals 150. So I know I'm done because I got my x by itself. Good, good, good. And you can already see right there, if you have trouble, a lot of trouble with equations, word problems are going to be a lot harder than they really should be. I mean, this part right here is hard enough. You don't want this part to be equally hard, right? So you got to really work on that part of it before you even try these. Okay. No, I think I'll stop. A few more and I got the whole damn section done here. And you're all like, damn it, you caught on. Okay. Anything from chapter 4? We just barely got into 4 last time. Is 4 good so far? All right. Yes.
These are the examples, right?
They did what now? Sorry?
Examples, like chapter like page 208, and then page 210.
Yeah. They got a ton of examples. So when you hit a problem in the homework, you go see if there's an example. There's more than likely an example just like it. In fact, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like on number 27, they say in the instructions, blah, 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 see examples 7 and 8.
Yeah, they said.
Yeah.
They said use examples.
Get a few levels up in math from here, and you'll have a book that doesn't have any examples in it anyway. So enjoy your examples while you have them, right? Look back at those for help first. Yeah.
So number like section 4, like chapter 4,
I'm with you.
218. Do you have to like put like a big
Oh, yeah.
thing, and then
All right, guys, so Randy's got a good question. How do I represent something like 5/8 on a number line? And the correct answer is not go, that's about right there. Yeah, I gotta cut it into 8 pieces, right? Sort of like we did with that egg carton I made. I cut it into 8 parts, so that each part was 1/8. So if I cut this into, let's see what I can do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because what would 8/8 be?
be 1.
1. So you should end, when you start counting at 1, the 8th one should be where 1 is. So if I would have said 5/9, you would have counted from 1 up to 9, and that would have been where the 1 is, because that would have been 9/9, right? So what does this position here mean? 1/8. So where's 5/8?
5 down.
Yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you use a ruler at all, or if you use any tools, you should be very used to fractional representations, right? Especially if you're using in inches. If you're using in millimeters or something, you got 8 millimeter, 9 millimeter. But inches, they love to do the 5/16. Give me the 5/16 for crescent wrench, right? Whatever. You should be very used to fractions themselves. But on a ruler, you do exactly this. And what do they do on a ruler that's kind of nice? Do they have a picture of a ruler? So I don't.
Yeah.
There it is. Well, sort of. You should have a picture of a ruler because that's exactly there. They got it really zoomed in. On page 208, you got your 0 mark, and then you got your 1, boom. 2, and then it's a little bit longer, and so forth. So they mark off like the fourths and the eighths. They mark it with different line lengths, so it's easier to kind of follow along. So if you've ever measured something precisely with a ruler or a tape measure, you should have used these markings before.
We call it 3 little ones.
3 little ones? All right.
4 inches of 3 little ones.
So, on that same page, 218,
Yes.
how about 53, where it's the 8 over 5?
I like it. Cool. So 5/8 is nice, but what if they have 8/5? Well, how do I want to break it up? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 1/5
2
2 fifths, 3 fifths, 4 fifths,
5
5 fifths, which is 1. So that's my 1 right here, right? So how do I get to 8 fifths?
Go
Go
3
up 3
more.
more.
Because this would be
6,
6 fifths,
7,
7.
8.
and there's 8 fifths, right? 9, and this is 10 fifths, which is also known as
2.
2. So this is your 1, which is also known as 5 fifths. So 8 fifths, we know that's more than 1 because the top is bigger than the bottom, right? In fact, we know more specifically, we know it's in between 1 and 2 because 2 would need a what up here? 10. So I know it's going to show up between 1 and 2. How far exactly? Well, 3 fifths over. Because how much over 1 is this? 1 would be 5 fifths. How much over 1 is this? 3 fifths over. And that's exactly, I ended up 3 fifths over 1.
1 3/5.
Crazy.
Nice.
And we can do it like when we divide it, we find the same solution, right? Like when we divide 8 by 5,
And get what?
like 1 and 3.
I love it. It's 1 and 3 fifths to gas. So you go whole 1 and then 3 fifths more. Sweet. I love it. Beautiful. Tears. Okay. Either way, they both mean the same thing. I really want you to understand what that means by itself. But that does mean basically this, right? But it does mean 8 fifths. You got to count over 8 fifths, which ends up being over 1. Yeah.
Okay, section 401, 93, 3, 6, 3, 6, then times by 10.
Number 93.
Yeah,
So it has 3 squared?
yeah, 3 squared, that's right.
Yes, good. So I don't know if I went up. Sometimes I give you some review problems, but sometimes I don't. So I don't remember if I went up that far in the homework. But that's just review from chapter 1. 3 squared, exactly. 3 times 3. Okay, so anything else before we get back into new stuff? Okay. Randy.
Oh, one more thing. 59, same page. -5, like slash.
Yep.
1, it's 5.
It's not 5. Is there another negative to kill that negative?
Yeah,
Where's the other negative?
1.
That's positive though, right? There's no negative sign here. So what is anything divided by 1?
It's under 5.
No. What's anything divided by 1? What's 7 divided by 1?
7,
What's 8 divided by 1?
8,
What's -5 divided by 1?
-5.
You got it. You're done. Right? Because if I would have put -5 over -1, what happens to the negatives? So it should become
Under 5.
+5 because the negatives would cancel.
But what about a 0? Because 0
Well, of course, over 0, what's that mean?
under 5.
Undefined. Well, what's 0 over 5? 0.
So, like number 62 and 66 is undefined, right?
66 is undefined because you can't divide by 0. But 0 divided by anything is 0. If I got nothing and I got to give 5 people something, how much can I give each of them?
7.
Nothing. If I have nothing and I owe you guys money and I got no money, how much can I give you guys?
None.
None. That's what that means. I can give you nothing. Right? My shoes are worth $0, right? Normally not far from the truth. This is weird. If I got $5 and I don't owe that to anybody, not even me, I'm not even there. That's way freaky. That's why we call it undefined. Here I am. I got $5, but I'm not here either. You lay awake at night thinking about that. Don't do that.
But wait, but -9 divided by 0 equals 9.
No. Only divided by 1 can it stay the same.
But it'd be
Don't worry. We'll talk more about that. Just remember, you can't divide by 0. That's undefined. You can't do it. And real quick, 9 divided by 1 is 9 because 1 times 9 is 9, right? 9 divided by 0, you think that's 9? 0 times 9, is that 9? No. So there's no number that goes there that works. That's why it's undefined. Okay. So we got to get into some new stuff. In fact, we'll do this. do a little bit of new stuff, and then we'll do some blue book. Let me ask you this. Let me just tell you this in English, and you guys tell me what this is. Why is it silly? Why is it kind of a silly question to ask if I said, what's 8 times 2 divided by 8? Can anyone tell me why that should be simple? What's 8 times 2 divided by 8?
18 or 8.
Maybe it isn't simple. Let me say it like this. 2. Let me say it like this. What's 2 times 8 divided by 8? 2. It's 2. Doesn't the 2 times 8, so if I write it, what's 2 times 8
16
divided by 8?
2.
Why do you not even want to waste time multiplying that out? Because the 8s would cancel, right? Why do they cancel? Because the operations are opposite. One's multiplication, the other one's division, right? So we do this all the time. What do you do when you have this equation? What do you do?
Divide by 8.
Divide by 8. Does it matter what 8 times x is?
No.
Because I can kill the 8. So then that's one reason why we do that. Because then, what is 8 times x? Well, I know it's 16 in this case, but 8 times x, I don't know what x is. So I can't really figure it out. But if I divide by the 8, it doesn't matter. So my point is this. If I have this problem.
7.
Yeah, right? What happens to the 5s? They cancel.
Come on.
Right? What about this? Here's the one that's a little bit trickier.
8.
No,
Be careful.
1 of 8.
Where is the 8?
Down, bottom.
Yeah, so the 3's cancel. What's 3 divided by 3?
1.
1. So it's 1 over 8. You kind of with me? You got to be real careful. You say, who's left alive and where are they? So the answer can't be 8 because the 8 is on the bottom. It can't just suddenly come up to the top on its own. How we doing? Yeah.
3 8.
Because what happened to the 3's?
0.
They canceled.
Comes 1.
Right? What's 3 divided by 3?
1 8.
What's 3 divided by 3?
1.
1. And over,
8.
so 1/8. So of course we're working our way towards this kind of problem here.
20 and 20. No.
It's 4.
Divided by 5?
So I'm not asking what the exact answer is. No, I'm not asking what the exact answer is. I'm actually asking you to reduce this. So really what we did up here, what is 5 times 7? 35. So what's 35 divided by 5? So we just did a shortcut there, right? We killed the 5 first. So if I expand that idea, is there any parts of these numbers that are the same?
20.
What's the biggest number that 20 and 24 have in common? 4. Because what's 24 times
5.
5? What's 24? 4 times 6. So what do the 4's do? Why? Because one is on the and the other one's on the so be careful. If they're across from each other, don't cross them out. They have to multiply if they're across from each other. This is division, so they die. And your answer is just 5, 6. Now do me a favor, who's got a calculator out?
Right here.
What is 20 divided by 24? So it's 0.83 forever, right? The little bar over it, I don't know. We haven't talked about it yet, but that means it goes forever. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. And what's 5 divided by 6?
30.
Same.
Same thing. Thank God. So mathematically, they're the same freaking number, right? It's the whole idea of ratios. If I need 1 cup of sugar for every 2 cups of brown sugar, I'm just making something like really sugary. And I put 2 cups of sugar in there, I better put 4 cups of brown sugar so the ratio is still the same. Are you kind of with me? This idea of, great, we just do it backwards. We reduce it. So this is called reducing the fraction. Putting it into, who knows what the phrase is? Put it into some lowest terms. I like it. Lowest terms. That's what it means to say put it into lowest terms means kill as much as you can between them. And why you're allowed to do that? Because it's division and multiplication. They're going to die all day. If there is anything, right? So if I said reduce this, said reduce? My Roman numerals. What would you tell me?
30.
705.
You're crazy, Jeff. 9 is, now I want to make this point. You guys, do you agree with me? You cannot reduce that.
6.
Right? Because what's 9 if you break it up? 3 times 3. Can you break 7 up?
No.
Not really. Is anything common?
No.
No. The best you can do is 7 over 3 times 3. Can you cancel anything?
No.
No. So that's not reducible. It's already reduced. Like if I would have given you 5 over 6, it's already reduced. Because there's nothing in common. I don't care that 9 is 7 plus 2. Why does that not matter? I really want you guys to get this now, because this always throws people off.
It's no solution, right?
Yeah, you can't do anything. It's already in the lowest terms.
No solution.
But why is this not... I can't do that. I can't cross those 7s. I really want you to see why.
Because
Why
it's not
can't I?
multiplication.
What's the bar mean?
Divided by.
And you can only... Division can only cancel...
By multiplication.
You can't do shit with addition, right?
Hell no.
My calculus students make me cry, every now a few of them, because they'll cross those 7s out. And I'm like, at that level, you should not be doing that shit. So right now, I want you guys to get that down. The reason I can do this is because the operations there are the opposite. So they will cancel. If the operations are not the opposite, they won't cancel. It's that simple. So don't make it more complicated than that. That's really all there is. Okay. Oh, so let's do... Beautiful. That's enough for right now. So let me see what you guys think about this. So far, on my little handout, we've talked about A, B, C. You'll see what I mean in a minute. When you're done with this handout, we're going to talk about Part D. So if you want to start with Part C, Part C is reducing it to lowest terms. That's the one we just talked about. If you want to work together, feel free. We're going to talk about this here in a minute. You don't have to turn this in.
What do you want us to do, C?
If you want to start with C, but I want you to do all the problems on here.
I want to do D.
You're all done with D for the moment. Those problems are to be announced. So try out the problems in A, B, and C. All right. So A and B is something we talked about last time. C is what we just talked about today. So. You can see up here, I'll show you an example exactly how to do it. Right? So you do it exactly the same way. Yep.